What's going on, guys? No, just checking in. I'm sorry to be doing another video while driving. It just, I don't know, I seem to like making videos while I'm driving. Today, I would like to talk about when anxiety keeps you up at night, which is something I'm currently going through for the umpteenth time, something that has troubled me for a long time, and it's currently troubling me. And I just kind of want to talk about how I cope with that, the things I do to try to work through it, and how it makes me feel. And for me, anxiety that keeps me up at night usually manifests itself in a very obsessive focus on my breathing. That tends to be the type of anxiety that keeps me up at night. Usually I feel like I can't breathe very well. My chest gets very tight. And I start focusing on every single breath. And that's just a way that my anxiety manifests itself. It's just a way that I deal with anxiety. And it's crippling, and it's very uncomfortable, and it honestly leads me quickly to suicidal thoughts based on an experience of what I call air hunger, having lasted for many months when I first had my severe mental breakdown in May of 2011. So recently I got sick. I have a chest cold, and I'm not sure what is what. I started a new diet, and you can always speculate what's causing what, but the bottom line is I'm having horrendous anxiety again that is at its worst at night when I feel trapped in my own thoughts and what have you. So I sort of want to talk about what I like to do when that happens. And for the record, I do know that it will pass. I have experienced it enough times and worked with enough people to know that these things pass. They get better, but they're very uncomfortable while they're happening. And people like me, perhaps someone like you, if you happen to deal with this as well, we need outlets, we need community, and we need things that we can do when the shit is just kicking our ass, which it is right now for me. So here are a couple of things I like to do when anxiety keeps me up at night. One, I go through a little bit of self-care and a little bit of step-by-step, workshop-style efforts to make it better while I'm still laying down. One, I do cut off screen time about an hour before bed. So anything that has a screen, I turn it off an hour before bed. I try to do some reading. I try to stay away from caffeinated drinks that go anywhere beyond the very beginning of my day. I basically set myself up in general to sleep better when I realize that the anxiety is keeping me up at night. So that's a little preventive stuff, but I do it. Assuming I'm doing the things I should be doing in terms of having healthy sleep habits, but I'm still up at night, I give myself a time limit. And I think this is really key. I give myself a time limit. So if I'm laying in bed and it's 1 a.m., if I'm still tossing and turning and severely anxious, and I'm not talking about being restless, you know what I mean? I'm talking about anxiety. I'm talking about physical and mental anxiety beyond feeling restless and awake. I give myself a time limit. I won't let myself sit in it for too long. I really won't. I feel that's like the worst thing you can do. So if while lying there, trying to do some mindfulness practices, trying to do a little bit of meditation while lying, perhaps putting on a little bit of soft music or some white noise. If I do the things I know I can try to do to calm myself that don't work, after a certain amount of time, perhaps an hour, half hour, I get up. And I think that has been one of the most key things that I could ever possibly do in terms of managing these experiences when they fucking happen, is get out of bed. Do not continue to lay there in terror and anxiety and physical, angst. Just get up. And so that is something I am very much pro doing. I get up and I do some reading. I get up and I try to communicate with someone online if I can. I send a message. I get up and I listen to some music whilst I journal. Maybe do some journaling for those of you that believe in that, which is a really powerful way to get some free therapy. I write out how I'm feeling. I do something proactive. Preferably, I do not turn on the television, but it will happen occasionally. And then I try again once I start to feel sleepy. I think I used to think, no, if I get up, I'm going to be compromising myself on sleep anyway. No, kill that noise. I'm laying in bed in terror anyway. I'm super uncomfortable, and it usually takes my mind away from my suffering just a little bit, and that's really valuable. So I get out of bed, and hopefully that's something you might think about next time you're just laying there getting your ass kicked. Beyond that, if I notice that this is not an isolated event, I communicate to my mental health care provider or my doctor what's going on. You know, I start seeking help quickly. I'm no longer comfortable just sitting there dealing with a bunch of physical anxiety and not talking about it, sort of suffering in silence. I am not about that life. You shouldn't be about that life either. If you're suffering and you've tried a few things that you know may help you and they're still not helping and it's going on 2, 3, 4 days, start communicating, you know, preferably right away. Start communicating what you're going through to someone who knows and who cares about you and has your best interest in mind. That's certainly what I do. And then as a last case scenario, I do try to have a benzodiazepine on hand to use as needed. Now, for the record, I have not used a benzodiazepine such as Ativan, for example. I have not used one for like a year, maybe a half a year to a year. It's been a really long time, but I do feel that as a security blanket, it is a very comforting thing to just keep on hand. And in a pinch, in a truly dire situation, even a small dose can sometimes be the relief you need to get you out of that moment. I mostly save benzos for when I'm starting to feel suicidal. I think that's basically when I'm like, okay, like my anxiety is taking me to hopeless suicidal places. I've tried the things that are within my control and I'm having no success to limited success. I perhaps will take a very small dose, and I'm considering getting a refill on my Ativan, small dose, maybe 0.5, something like that, milligrams, just to have it. So I'm not a mental health care provider. I'm just a mental health sufferer. And I just wanted to share that with you because it is very prevalent right now in my life. I also know that it will pass. Things do change. What goes up must come down, just like what goes down must come up. But I'm having a bad go of it right now, and it's really affecting me. And so I just wanted to share that for whatever it might be worth to you guys. I appreciate you guys. I've always loved the ability to be candid and share with you. And I know a lot of you suffer from anxiety. So, yeah, relaxation techniques are also things I try. And anyway, I could probably, if I pre-planned videos better, I could probably think of more things. But that's the grunt of it. That's the bulk of it. And then trying to focus on ways to relax in general. Relax and take myself outside of myself. You know, focus on other people, focus on other things, and listen to the words of wisdom of those who can keep me focused. You know, don't start believing the bullshit in my head just because I'm uncomfortable. Because I really get scared when I'm uncomfortable, and I think I have some PTSD where I go back to the worst days I ever had, you know, when my anxiety had me ready to kill myself every day for months and months and months, my depression, my depersonalization. I think I jump back to that quickly. I really do. It's like I haven't let go that happened to me. And it's one of the reasons that when I do have anxiety like I've had lately, and night anxiety in particular, where it keeps me up, I go to the worst possible scenario and I have to bring myself back. So I hope this video is worth something to someone. You know, I've usually found that when I share openly, there's at least someone who can relate, and that's good enough for me. It makes me feel good about continuing to share and be open. Please share your experiences with anxiety, whether it be at night or not, and the things you like to do and what helps, what doesn't. Thank you for being a part of this video. Thank you for being a part of this channel to whatever capacity. Remember, whatever we are going through, we can get through it one day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take good care of yourself, and fuck anxiety.